Hi everyone, welcome back to my living room and to episode 8 of Sophia Talk. So I'm here, I'm back again on a Wednesday, and you know what? I had a late night. I had a rather emotionally fraught day yesterday, a good day, but I got up at a Mind.8 open mic poetry night and read something incredibly personal that I wrote on the spot in 5 minutes. That was something of a venting bit of closure for me. And I was more emotional than I expected reading it in front of the very lovely and warm audience of Mind.8 again. But yeah, I'm emotionally drained. It was unexpected. And if it wasn't for what we're talking about today, I wouldn't be sitting here now, and I would have found today a bit of a struggle. So last week we ended the episode with a quotation by James Clear from his book Atomic Habits. Your habits shape your identity, so change your identity and your habits will follow. The book's based on the neuroscience and the psychology behind habits. And I hear you ask, what does this have to do with mental health, Sophia? Well, it has everything to do with mental health, really. If you remember the 8 areas of our holistic well-being and our toolbox, our daily habits, how we live our life, our rituals, and the system that we create to help us in moments of challenge, like mine this morning, are what will help us maintain this equilibrium on the mental health axis throughout our lives. And I wasn't always like this. I didn't have a system in place until 44, I think. I'm 47 now. So yeah, it took until my mid-40s for me to actually change my identity and stop believing these crazy limiting beliefs that held me back from changing the way I lived my life. And this is why I really want to hone in on the book, which I highly recommend. James talks about outcome-based and identity-based habits. And how you work that, which way round, will very much impact how sustainable the system that you have set up is. And I'm going to give you an example of what he means. So 3 parts, change your outcomes, okay? So to change your life, change your outcomes by focusing on what you're going to get. And as an example, that could be losing your weight, getting down to your ideal weight, 59 kilos, whatever that may be, publishing that book you always said you were going to write, winning a sports competition. That's your goal, your outcome. In order to get to that outcome, obviously you have to change your process. That's what you do. That's the action. Some examples, your habits, your systems, new routine, new practices, changing the methods with which you train for something. And then the third is change your identity. And that's what you believe. And we covered a lot about, our thought process, our ants, our automatic negative thoughts. We spoke about our belief system. We spoke about self-perception, heuristics, system 1, system 2, the way our mind works based on environment, past upbringing, and how we've managed to kind of package this sense of identity that can hold us back. So it's your judgments about yourself, okay? Now, if you set your eye on the target first and then change your process, and then at the end of that change your identity, you're almost setting yourself up for failure. Because we all know that when you get to the final destination, you do often feel a sense of anticlimax. You know, people say when you win that gold medal, the next day you're like, okay, now what? Whereas if you shift the process and you first decide what kind of person you want to become, and then adjust your habits accordingly so that you can prove to yourself that you are that identity with small wins, that's how you build this very stable, solid system that's there for you when you fall. And, it's not failure, is it, that counts? It's how quickly you get back up. It's the rebound. And it's very hard to rebound from a relapse in life unless you have this system in place. The way we see ourselves, our behaviour, being incongruent with our values, all of these things are very difficult unless you can convince yourself that I don't just want this, this is who I am. So, by looking at the identity-based habits instead of the outcome-based habits, you can say to yourself, my goal isn't to read a book. My goal is to become a reader. My goal isn't to run a marathon. My goal is to become a runner. It becomes a way of life. It becomes a lifestyle. And it's all about rewiring your brain to believe that, part of your identity is now this new set of rules that you have for yourself every day. And that again comes back to mental health. It comes back to mental empowerment because it gives us the agency, the authority, the accountability, the power and the control to make sure that we plan our day when we get up in the mornings and that we are in control of the outcome of our lives. So there's various versions of this, but they do say it takes 66 days to change a habit, don't they? And then there's the 21-90 rule, 21 days to make a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. And the thing that James outlines in his book is habit stacking so that you can fit it into your existing routine so that it becomes an automatic habit. And that would be something like doing a small act before or after you brush your teeth, because brushing your teeth is something that you already do automatically every day. It could be something that you do before you put your shoes on. It could be something that you do before you make your coffee. And the amazing thing is that it can be small things. Because, if you try to do too much too quickly, you go into that all or nothing mindset. So as soon as you fail, you give up. And Atomic Habits is all about those small adjustments, the incremental changes that mean that you can do something every day that you're capable of and then stick to it. And I love when James refers to the Goldilocks rule that states that humans experience peak motivation when they're working on tasks that are just on the edge of their current abilities. So not too hard, not too easy, just right. That's what he calls the flow state, when you're in the zone. And we're not going to get into this today because I'd rather you read the book, but it's all about, the cue, the craving, the response and the reward, and how you need to make a habit obvious by helping yourself, by changing your environment. So maybe that means putting your trainers by the front door so that you can remember to go for a run. It could mean putting a bottle of water on the kitchen counter every morning so that you remember to take it to work. It could be leaving your guitar by the bedroom door so that you remember to practice when you get home. Then there's making it attractive. So it's not just a habit that you need, but it's something that you want because it gives you a dopamine hit when you do it, like exercise or more sleep or socializing with friends. There's making it easy, so avoiding friction. Leave your room and make sure that your phone is in your room if you want to have an hour of stress-free relaxation without notifications, without anyone bothering you. Or, make it satisfying. Establish a loop with habits that suit you. So don't go and try and do the impossible. I hate going to the gym. And I've tried classes, I've tried to go to Pilates, I've tried to do yoga. And there's something about the inconvenience of having to sit in traffic and get there and park that stops me from doing it, which is a pathetic excuse. But I found running, because running requires me to leave my kit out when I go to bed, wake up in the morning, get dressed, put my trainers on, walk down to the beach, run for 5K and come home. It's easy for me. Make it satisfying, because it's something that is not just easy, but it also fits your likes and your wants and your desires. And I want to just quickly, before I run through my daily ritual, just as an example, and like I said, today I really struggled, because I wake up in the morning and I open the balcony door just to get some fresh air into my room while I read. So I lie in my bed and read a few pages of a book before I get up. I get up and I make my lemon water to clear my system. I will go outside and, just do a bit of breathing in the sun just to get some sunlight in my eyes first thing in the morning. I'll do some exercises for my dodgy neck because, at 47, you've got a dodgy something. I will then come in and do my journaling, my gratitude list. And this all slowly sets me up for the day, because by the time I've hit the shower, I've already put myself in a calm state, ready for what the day will bring. And then there's other small things that I do throughout the day, the afternoon, the evening. Every day there's a different set of habits. But if I didn't have those in place, it would be very tempting to wake up on a day like today, after I've been out, after I've had too much to drink, after I haven't slept, after I've cried reading a poem in front of an audience of people. I would have woken up today 4 years ago and thought, I can't do this, I'm so upset, I'm emotionally drained, I can't be bothered to do any exercise. I'm going to skip standing out on the balcony because there's a cloud and I can't see the sun anyway. I'm not going to bother with my journaling. But I can't do that anymore because it's automated. All of these things now have become as easy and as automatic for me as brushing my teeth, showering, getting dressed, doing my makeup and leaving the house. And that is the beauty of atomic habits and stacking. And I want to end on a beautiful visual that will help you solidify this in your mind, because these are all the best tools that you can give yourself for the grounding, for improving your overall well-being. It's the visual, and I can't remember who said this, but I loved it. It's the visual of a tractor harvesting crop. Okay, now if this guy sits in the tractor and goes up and down on the same spot every day, you're just going to have a field with a flat track that's been overused and destroyed effectively. Whereas if every day for 90 days the driver shifted his steering wheel just 1 degree, tiny, 1 degree, it could be 10 minutes of exercise, it could be 5 minutes of doing something for you, meditating, mindfulness, reading, 1 degree a day. In 90 days, which is how long it takes for this habit to become a lifestyle, he'd be at 90 degrees, he would have changed the course entirely, so he'd be looking in a completely different direction, from north to east, and he would have harvested all of that land. So never underestimate what you can do with tiny shifts in your habits, with atomic shifts in your habits. And I leave you with what I would assume is the tagline of the book, which I love. And it would be great if before next week you sat and thought about this, you thought about your daily rituals and how many things you're doing on either side of automatic habits that already exist. What else can you slot in that might benefit you and the people around you? Tiny changes, remarkable results. I swear by this, it really did change my life. And the great thing about these atomic habits is that they travel with you. If they're easy, attractive, obvious and satisfying. You can do them wherever you go. You can do them when you're on holiday. You can do them when you're staying in someone else's house. You can do them when you're staying at a hotel. Highly recommended. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And those were just some basic steps on how you can start to adjust your identity so that your habits can follow. Who do you want to become? Do you want to be a runner? Do you want to be someone more healthy than you've been before? Do you want to be more spiritual? Do you want to be more mindful? Decide who you want to become and your habits will follow. See you next week.